In addition, there are beacons of light in different government houses, in the different state legislatures and party leadership. But the youth have a role to play to tease out and encourage and support that produce more leaders that are nationalistic and patriotic and are able to mobilize Nigeria to take its place in the community of nations. Invite the youth to see how the COVID challenge have limited traditional politicking, and that gives the youth an advantage to mobilize for their parties, to enrich the discourse, and more importantly also, the use of other states or use of other constituencies where the election, outside where the elections are taking place, can even have the opportunity to shape or support the shaping of the mobilization, so that we are talking about leaders that represent the constituencies for which they were elected and also contribute to the bigger Nigerian dream. And I believe when we do that, we will see that elections are just no longer local affairs, but affairs where everyone is concerned, and it will evolve a richer political culture. Equally, the INEC can learn from this and hasten the opportunity to amend the laws so that one day we can use our mobile phones to vote or other electronic voting system that will support the commendable process they have started in electing leaders without the need for mass aggregation of people in multiple locations at different units. Last, I said last, but I'll conclude by saying that the COVID challenge shows us that no matter how well prepared we are, an unusual event can seize the moment, and our ability to function is determined by our ability to create synergies among one another and be aware that Nigeria is competing with others, and let us think together, let us act together for the country, let us elect leaders at different levels who have higher dreams and higher goals rather than people who are parochial and divisive at different levels. I thank you very, very much for inviting me, and I hope
thank you very much, our leader.
Will be helpful as I do.
Thank you very much.
And also to learn from, for inviting me and giving me the chance to.
We have a little break in network, and that is the issue we are still discussing to make Nigeria a better place. Our leader and our mentor, we really appreciate you, sir. And I am very sure that when we have another program the other time, we will definitely invite you. We have listened to you. Particularly, I need to appreciate you because you're center on the young people, and we are appreciative of the gesture. You really understand the power of the youth, and we will not disappoint. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. We are still expecting our guest, also Professor Ben Ayade. Professor Ben Ayade, we are here to see, we are trying to find him online, but as soon as we get him, I think he will be able to come online to also give his speech. So we now want to get Professor Shedrack Best. If Professor Shedrack Best is there, maybe you can just wave so that we can see you. Professor Shedrack Best is a professor of political science, and we strongly believe that is an orator on this topic, Nigeria electoral system, the challenge of COVID-19. We are still, if Professor Shedrack Best is there, we are still expecting Professor Shedrack Best and Professor Ben Ayade. We are expecting the two of them to wave in. But in the absence of that, I think we can use that opportunity to allow one or two persons to ask questions. We are also still expecting, is there? We are still expecting Professor Shedrack. So we will be looking at few questions from the chat room. Please, if you have your question, try as much as possible to drop it and let our leader just have one or two responses before we bring up the other guests. So we'll be looking at the chat room. If you have any question, please, you can try and drop it. It's very, very important because our governor is very busy and he will be leaving very soon. Please, if you have one or two questions, we are just going to entertain just 2 or 3 questions, please. If you have 2 or 3 questions, please just let us know while we work on how to join Professor Shedrack Best and Professor Ben Ayade. Okay, please let us hear your question. Just drop your question. Just drop your question. We are checking it already. Just drop your question. Just drop your question. Don't type, I want to ask question. There is no time. Please drop your question. Very short question. Please, we have the representatives of the SSA to the President on Youth and Student Matter, highly represented on this platform by his personal assistant, which is Dr. Aminu Izaku. The SSA is presently in a meeting with the Chief of Staff to the President, and I think he will still join us as soon as possible. We also have Professor Habu Galadima. Professor Habu Galadima have delivered a speech. He was quite online before he engaged with another issue, but he has the director in that National Institute for Policy and Strategic Study that represented him, and is still very much online with us. So let's read questions. Okay, tell me the merit of your electoral system. Why, thank you for this lecture. Tell me the merit of your electoral system. Well, our topic for this debate is Nigeria electoral system, challenge of COVID-19, the way forward. I need to give a little brush about why we come up with that topic. The topic is majorly because Nigeria democracy is centered on electoral system. The more our electoral system is very sound, the more our democratic norms and values is highly reputed. So we strongly believe that without electoral system, there can never be a democracy. And since we are in the era of democracy, June 12th, tomorrow will be a democracy day, we are looking at the challenges of COVID-19 moving forward. We have 2 elections that are coming. We have Edo State governorship election. We also have Ondo State governorship election. What are the youths? What are we going to do? We are looking at the issue of the COVID-19 pandemic. What are the roles of the youth in making sure that they protect the ballots, they protect the votes, they make our electoral system to be sound, They address strictly with our democracy norms. These are issues we want to look at. So I think we have Yakubu Muiza from Jigawa State. Yakubu is saying our question is about issue of electrical voting based on my own thinking. I think Yakubu is trying to ask, are we going on electronic voting in the forthcoming election because of the COVID-19? So let me reshape the question for Yakubu. Yakubu is asking that, are we trying to adopt the electronic voting? Are we trying to adopt electronic voting, looking at the issue of challenges of COVID-19 and where we are today? So those are the first question from Yakubu. We also have a question from, I'm worried about, yes, we have a question from Muhammad Usman. Muhammad Usman said, I'm worried about the elections of Edo and Ondo State. I hope some people not take the advantage of this COVID-19 to rig the election. Is it possible that the election in Ondo and Edo State will be rigged because of the COVID-19? I think that is the second question from that. We also have Tinubu Ayodele. Tinubu Ayodele is asking question, how do you think we can have a better electoral system in view of the menace of fake news and ICT? So let's entertain that three questions. Our leader, we are here with you. We want you to help us do justice to this question. The first question is, how do you think we can have a better electoral system in view of the menace of fake news and ICT? The fake news have been very much in town. People are just coining news, and today we just see that a lot of things. So they are asking that questions. They are also asking about Edo election. As a governor, will you appoint a youth for a position of commissioner or related position? I think that question is personal to our executive governor of Kebbi State. I'm very much sure that he has a lot of youth in his cabinet, and I'm very, very much sure that he has been doing fantastic work for the youth. So they are asking, as a governor, sir, which you are already a governor, that will you appoint a youth for a position of commissioner? I think that is the first question. Another question from another question. Those are the little questions we have, sir. I think our DG is still available. Let's split the questions. Two questions can go to our executive governor of Kebbi State, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar Bagudu. Is asking that, as a governor, can you appoint a youth? Can you appoint a youth as a commissioner for youth? So I think that question is straightforward. That is why we also have, how do you think we can have a better electoral system in view of the menace of fake news? I think that two questions, sir, can go to you, why the other guest can be able to say one or two things. So we are live with the governor of Kebbi State, sir. We'll be expecting your response, sir.
Trying to stop, but voice will come up.
Okay. Good. Let's move on. We already passed on. What is the Sorry, sir. We are trying to unlock the mute. I was thinking it's not. Okay. Okay, yes. We have gotten it now. Sorry, sir. So we have done justice to that. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you clear, sir. We can
Yes,
hear
sir,
you.
we can.
Okay, thank you. I think the first question was appointment of youth in government, or more particularly commissioner of youth. Kebbi State have done that already. We have a number of people who, by every definition, qualify as youth in the cabinet. I think at least five to six of them. But, and this is with by President Muhammadu Buhari, who has put a number of youth in very, very responsible places. First, today we heard from the representative of the Special Assistant on Youth and Student Affairs, and we heard how eloquently he spoke himself and how much he represented his principal, the SE. And that is all, that is all reason. But who's in government or in cabinet, that is the simplest thing to do. And we are glad it's happening. But the more challenging aspect is, what do we expect the youth to do in government?
Yeah.
Because we want them to bring new ideas, new processes, new ways of doing things. And this involves taking risks. Are we willing to provide the support for them to take those risks? Because in bringing those new ideas, new processes, they will make mistakes. Mistakes are bound to be made. And that's precisely what we want them to lead us to do, because we want to compete with the world. How are we going to compete with the world if we continue doing things the way we used to do? So we should expand the discourse to what should youth do when they are in government, and how do we ensure that they are not suffocated by bureaucratic processes, by traditional thinking. We want our youth to come in government and help us compete with other countries, Korea, Malaysia, Japan, the US. So we want them to use resources differently than we hitherto is happening. We want this we used to, so that we can create employment 5 years. And before then, we have had a number of in government who have done very well. But I think the National Nigeria Youth Congress should expand the discourse so as to see it's not just being commissioner. I mean, if I make a commissioner of agriculture, what do I expect him to do? To do things to head the bureaucracy? No, I want him to disrupt the system. In disrupting the system, I have to help mobilize the state assembly and the government to support him or her so that they can disrupt the system, and ditto in other offices. Secondly, the second question is how the COVID challenge can help better political outcomes. I think it has been said more eloquently and clearly by the representative of the DG. The youth have an advantage in social media and ICT, which is a major tool of shaping and determining political outcomes. Most people today follow the social media, whether on their phones, whether on laptops, in different forums, and even the traditional media, FM stations, the shortwave, medium wave stations, and other broadcast stations are increasingly influenced by ICT and social media comments and observations and mobilization. So if that is correct, which I believe it is, then that means the youth have an opportunity to shape political outcomes more than any other group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We really, really appreciate you. We know how busy you are, but you have done justice to it. The young people should not just be looking at appointment, but they should distrust the system.
Thank you.
This is what I will continue to remember you for. Fantastic. You have really done well. We appreciate you, sir. The other questions, I think the SSA can answer the other questions we have. The SSA can answer the other question we have. They are asking about Edo and Ondo elections. That are we sure they will not, because of these challenges of COVID-19, disrupt Edo and Ondo election? That is the first question. We also have, considering the fee of various political parties, do you think it is favorable for a youth to purchase the form? That is the second question for our SSA to the president. Considering the fee of various political parties, did you think it is favorable for a youth to purchase the form? And we are looking at the issue of ICT and fake news. Do you think it will not affect the election coming up in Edo and Ondo? And the second question also talk about implications of national youth policy and youth. I think you can answer that two questions, sir. Dr. Aminu Isaku, we are with you.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much for having me again. Regarding the use of ICT or technology to rig elections upcoming in other states, I think that is a challenge for our youth. What the SSA is busy doing in the office is mainly how to elevate the economic standards of our youth so that they don't become more vulnerable to the abuse by politicians to disrupt elections in whichever way, whether through the use of social media to propagate fake news or to do some other unethical things that the youth may be inclined to do because of their vulnerability. So the focus for the senior special assistant is to develop the economic standards of the Nigerian youth and also to elevate the educational standards of Nigerian students. So once the youth, before the youth can get ready to take responsibilities in the office, there has to be a deliberate attempt by the youth to develop both economically and education-wise, so that they don't become easy targets by politicians to propagate fake news and to disrupt any election. By the way, I don't think our elections are so vulnerable to be easily rigged these days because of the systems that have foolproof by way of plugging all the loopholes that are usually being abused by some other unworthy politicians. So the challenge for our youth is to resist being used by politicians to rig elections in whichever way. Let them rather ask those politicians, when you win elections, if you get into the office, what are your dedicated programs for Nigerian youth in terms of economic empowerment and also in terms of educational standards? What do you have for us, rather than to say, what can we do for you to help you win election? That is rather more a lazy way out of it. The best thing for our youth is to get involved in the electoral process you can start that by offering voluntary services to leaders. Just get a way of finding yourself offering some service by way of volunteering, but not be abused by politicians in whatever way. Add on the Edo and Ondo elections, the potential for the youth to be used to rig elections. And regarding fees for forms, for the Honorable SSA is also the exorbitant fee nomination forms of political parties. He is very much concerned, and he has raised this issue every time he goes ahead to meet with stakeholders. However, there are many political parties now in Nigeria that our youth can get involved with. You can bypass the expensive political parties and get on board the ones that are not so exorbitant. However, what can we still do for the leading parties in Nigeria today to find a way of involving our youth so that we may offer them certain waivers for forms or certain incentive so that at least they can be motivated and get on board. Some of these youth have a lot to offer to the country. Some of Nigerian youths are very capable. But the exorbitant fees of nomination forms for major political parties is a great, great barrier that is impeding the advances of youth to be of any service to the country. So if the major political parties can do more to waive these fees, that would be very helpful. However, if they have not done so or they are not ready to do so, the Nigerian youth can always find opportunities in other new, smaller political parties to test their popularity. The essence of a political party is to offer you a platform that you can be at the same table with a candidate of a major political party for the office you are running for. So no matter how small a party is, don't bother about that. Make sure you have more things to offer to the population than any candidate that may be paraded by any major political party. So let the youth not be dissuaded by the fees of forms. There are smaller parties whose nomination forms are more affordable. So the youth can take advantage of those and test their popularity. Thank you very much. So it's back to you, comrade.
We are trying as much as possible to get our other guests. And in the absence of that, I think we have a few questions that our DG, are you still there, sir? Our DG, the representative of our DG. The representative of our DG. Sorry. Yes, let's hear from I will try and get the DG, the Public Secretary of the Nigeria Youth Congress. You will speak on behalf of the on the leadership of Nigeria Youth Congress, please. Let's hear from you, Prince Victor Alubari.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, yes, yes. You can go ahead.
Okay. On behalf of Nigeria Youth Congress, we want to appreciate everyone that created time and opportunity to be on this summit. The peculiarity of the circumstances that revolves around democracy is a peculiar one that has affected a lot. Looking at our democratic system as a group, has been praying is that we should have a fair electoral system, which the youth will be given full of winning without fear and favor. Because in most cases, in situations whereby we are being used, not because we want to, because we've been pushed to the corner. Just like the representative of the SSA to the Honorable President said, that we want to see a situation whereby the youth will be empowered, they will be placed in a place where they ought to, so they will be used as instrument to disrupt election. So we as an organization, we really want to look for the youth major investment. When I mean investment, it means when you put in some resources into something, you benefit from it as a major investment towards the development of this nation, where we'll focus more on ICT, agriculture, do things that we ought to and actually get results. Secondly, because of the poor electoral system, which we can get better, why I say because looking at the just concluded election, a lot went on. No matter how much is trying, because the citizens and also the greedy politicians are about how to make a living. Hello. Whereby people just want to get and enrich themselves from. So we've been trying as much as possible to see how we as a youth can be mainly concerned about the development of this nation, bringing in our best, supporting the government, ensuring that whatever we are doing
Still expecting to hear from the other guests. We want to know the handles they are using. Please, Professor Shedrack Best, if you are there, just wave at us, please. Professor Shedrack Best, if you are there, let us see you. Dr. Tunji Ashaolu. Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, if you are there, please let us see you. Dr. Yakubu Chendam, Island is on transit. Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, Professor Chedra Bex, The representatives of the Honorable Minister, if you are there, please. Please. I think we should check the questions. We should check more questions. We are about rounding up because of our executive governor of KB State. He's sincerely too busy, but he still takes his time to make sure that he joins us. So I think we should be able to look at few questions. What effort are you putting in place relating to other governor providing better environment for them? Yes, I think our executive governor, sir, we have a good question for you. We have a good question for you. I can say that these questions is relating to you, sir. If you are still there, sir, our executive governor, we have a question that was asked that unlock this thing. That Your Excellency, sir, what efforts are you putting in place? What efforts are you putting in place? Where is the question again? What effort are you putting in place related to other governors towards providing better environment for the youth? That is, what efforts? Let's limit it to where you have a scope, which is the Progressive Governors Forum. What effort are you putting in place to make sure that other governors accommodate more youth? What effort are you putting in place to make sure that other governors accommodate more youth? And considering the recent challenge of young women raping, what are you providing to protect the women? So I think we can join that two questions together. Considering the recent challenges of rape, what are you doing to make sure that the women are protected? And what effort are you putting in place to also relate to other governors in order for better environment for the youth? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I think I don't want to sound partisan, but the Minister of Youth and Sports have been very actively and vigorously pursuing the National Youth Policy, which most APC states and some non-APC states have been promoting, which is how to excite more youth to join government, and more than just joining, to participate in government and change government. And I think APC governments around the country have been doing well in that. I earlier said that to provide the environment for the youth to do differently, we must appreciate that doing differently involves taking risks, and we must give them the opportunity. Most of youth are able to achieve higher salaries when they are not in government. Most of them, we are bringing them in to use their capacity and their brilliance, and we must support those brilliance. Can you hear me?
Okay, you come back.
Hello?
You can hear
Hello?
me.
You can hear me. So recently, in the last 2 weeks, we are all amazed at how an individual for the first time sent astronaut to the International Space Station. Our scriptures, whether as Muslims, as Christians, our scriptures have told us that we are all equal. Our youth are capable of leading us to achieve the dreams that have been achieved elsewhere. And that is the platform. That is how they see themselves. We don't want them to be stuck in traditional thought processes. We want them to fire their imagination, hold bond of partnership around the country, and mobilize communities and states across Nigeria. So that's what we expect of them, and that's what we believe they are capable of. And I'm very, very happy with the increases in participation of youth across Nigeria. Secondly, what are we doing on rape? Rape at all times represents the shame of a community or of a people. Because whether it is done for power, for exploitation, not just the person raped, but even the society in which that rape is taking place. We in a religious lot, and our scriptures are very, very clear about causing pain to others. A lot of us, all of us, are products of mothers, have sisters, some of them have daughters and sons and fathers that we will be enraged to find anybody causing harm to. So we have the platform, religious platform, because there's no religion that encourages or that is not very harsh. Our religions encourage us to marry. They give us the freedom to associate legitimately with our loved ones so that we can responsibly relate properly, and the religions have also helped us with laws that are very, very strict, very, very strict. Stoning, which used to be, which is one of those offenses, stoning is in the scripture, it's in the Bible. When Muslims also in the Hadith, that is how angry religious thought process is to anybody to the society by inflicting offense against the body of another. I know that legislations have changed and legislations have improved, and all governors are now adopting more aggressive legislation, violence against persons legislation, Child Right Act, that is enhancing the legal framework with which properly we should always improve in order to punish those who choose to offend our civility. But more than that is to continue to provide the platform so that it doesn't happen. Young people should be with ease, partnership with ease, people who be over young people, particularly school where most students are young people, we should have improved vigilance. Nigerian Youth Congress should be very active, girl or boy who choose to make life hell for another. Thank you. Thank you.
We have sincerely taken a lot of your time today. We sincerely appreciate you, sir. We sincerely appreciate you. Waiting for our guest. I think we have chairman of the planning committee for this event. Please, the chairman of the planning committee for this event, Comrade Adedamola Gbenga. Please, you can say one or two things. You guys have been very wonderful. The chairman of the planning committee, please.
Mr. President, thank you for this opportunity. I want to first and foremost thank the Almighty God for making this event a success. And I want to appreciate all the committee members for their commitment and for their doggedness in achieving this enormous task. Let me appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Kebbi State, for finding time out of his tight schedule to be with us in this gathering. It has been a wonderful one, and it's a pleasure having you with us, Your Excellency.
Thank
And
you.
you've really add glamour to the program. We are proud of you, and we are proud of the entire people of Kebbi State. Let me appreciate the special advisor to the President on Youth and to be here with us. It is a welcome development, and it is a sign of a great things to come as far as Nigeria is concerned. And I want to assure you that as young people of this country, we will not disappoint you. We will play our own role as young people, and we will have a better Nigeria. To all our participants, all our audience, we appreciate you for finding time to log in and for waiting patiently and listening patiently with the words of advice from our fathers. We want to appreciate you, we celebrate you, and we will join us up in the program. And I want to advise us that we should make use of this meeting. And I want to pray that the Almighty Allah bless all of us and help us to achieve the Nigeria of our dream. Thank you, everybody. God bless you all. Over to you, Mr. President, sir.
Very much. Thank you very much. I think we are still expecting few of our guests. In the absence of that, the Honorable SSA to the President, please. Are you still there? The Honorable SSA to the President, are you still there? We are still expecting few of our guests. We are expecting Professor Ben Nayade, the Governor of Cross River State. Please, if you are, let us know the handle you are using. Professor Ben Nayade, please let us know the handle you are using. We are expecting Professor Ben Nayade. We are expecting Professor Shedrack Bext. Professor Shedrack Bext, Department of Political Science, University of Just. Please, if you are there, let us know the handle you are using. We are still expecting Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, Nigerian permanent representatives at the African Union ECOSOC. He said he will join us very soon. We are still expecting him. Dr. Yakubu Chendan, please, if you are there, the Chairman, Governing Board, Nigeria Youth Congress. The Kebbi State Chairman of Nigeria Youth Congress, please, if you are there. We want one chairman to speak from the north and one chairman to also speak from the south. One chairman to represent the north and one chairman to represent the south. I think I'm seeing Engineer Babagana Mustafa. Engineer Babagana Mustafa, Chairman, Nigeria Youth Congress, Borno State. Yeah. Engineer Babagana Mustafa.
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay, please represent the Northern
Excellency.
Chairman, Nigeria Youth Forum. We want to hear from you, from all what we have been saying since. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President. We really appreciate your time and commitment that you have given towards the youth empowerment.
Thank you.
Here in northern part of Nigeria, we really appreciated the effort of our dear governors toward improving the livelihood of the youth, more especially in handling the thuggery and other related cases within the region. We just like to say that we as a youth, we are very committed and dedicated for most of the tasks that we have been involved in. And we look forward to provide a more enabling environment to the upcoming youth here in our state and other various states. Mr. President, Nigerian Youth Congress, we really appreciate the enabling environment you provide for all of us to bring our own view and to develop our skills and other related things. Thank you very much. In terms of this,
are you done? That is the chairman of Borno State, Nigeria.
Yeah, I want to give.
You can go ahead, please.
Yes, in terms of this issue of Nigerian electoral system, from my own point of view, you see, in the cycle from 1999 to date, the cycle of political power in Nigeria is mainly within some few classes. And for us as a youth, in order to us to participate in the better position, play an important role in toward developing our own nation, is that we need to be more committed, more especially in the party system, the grassroots party system, and let us involve ourselves more especially in those delegate selection and other related things in order for us to provide a youth candidate in all the political parties. We don't just need to say, oh, PDP, APC, or other parties, but in all the parties, if we have our own representatives, that is how we as a youth, we are going to provide better solutions, even for our economic growth. You can just see here in Borno State, we having one of the youth handling Borno State geographical information system. If you can just see the achievement of those youth in that section, you really appreciate that there's the youth are ready to bring better government in Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. President.
That is the chairman of Nigeria Youth Congress, Borno State. We really appreciate you. Let me bring on board the chairman of Akwa Ibom State, Barrister Eneka Etim. Where are you? Barrister Eneka Etim, if you are still there, speaks on behalf of the chairman, Barrister Eneka Etim. Yes, I can see that you are there. Barrister Eneka Etim, please. We are
okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I am the chairman of Akwa Ibom State.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kebbi State, Your Excellency, the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigerian Youth Congress, Comrade Blessing. Good afternoon. In a special way, let me greet the Chairman, Governing Board of Nigerian Youth Congress, Dr. Yakubu Shandam. He's a wonderful man. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and colleagues on board this meeting. My name is Barrister Nyc Democracy, the Chairman of Akwa Ibom State Chapter of Nigerian Youth Congress. My first and foremost say on behalf of the members and the chairman from the South of Nigerian Youth Congress, we really appreciate His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kebbi State, for finding time out of his very tight schedule to show an exemplary leadership of a father to us to be part of this meeting. Your Excellency, I must say very personally, I'm believing that that's the mind of other like minds, that you've done so wonderfully well. We have a lot of governors, but at least for today, I can stand tall to say that you are exceptional. Thank you very much. Let me also say, Your Excellency, the President of Nigerian Youth Congress, you've done so well. And we are not saying it for you to be happy, but I want to tell you that this is just the truth and must be told. Your skills and your capacity in leadership is not in doubt. And we want to continue to say that God will give you more grace to do more. Let me quickly make one or two comments, if time permits. I want to say something about politics in Nigeria as one of the focus in this meeting. Summarily, I want to say that it lies within the portfolio of Nigerian youth for us to come together and unbundle this long existing chain in politics in Nigeria. And by so doing, we need a lot of these kind of meetings, even when there is no pandemic, even at the end of COVID-19, because we can always come together from every corner of this country in this platform. I think we can be able to do more, address and synergize. And let me also quickly make some comments with a few minutes about the issue trending in our country today. That's the issue of rape, among other vices. We know we've got a lot of social vices, autism, rape, maternal issues and all that, but the issue of rape lies mostly in the circle of the youth. And I want to please encourage every youth, every chairman, every member of the Congress, and others who have like minds to get involved, to get active, to ensure that we stand on our feet and bring all hands on deck to ensure we fight to a standstill this evil that is beginning to ravage the entire youth system in Nigeria. We say no to rape, and we encourage every Nigerian youth to say no to rape. And for me, personally, any family that reports to the office of the chairman, Nigerian Youth Congress of Private State, we are going to ensure we do pro bono services for such families that are victims of rape to ensure that these perpetrators are brought to book and then justice be meted on this set of people. I want to, on behalf of the entire Southern leadership of Nigerian Youth Congress, say thank you, the leadership of Youth Congress. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Governor of Kebbi State, for finding time to be with us. Thank you, and God bless us all. Thank you.
The chairman,
Your Excellency, the President of
chairman of Akwa Ibom State, please. We have to bring on board the representatives of the Commonwealth students. I think I saw the representative of the Commonwealth students. Please. The representative of the Commonwealth students. Are you there? Yes, I think I saw. Okay, yes, he's there. I think Comrade Mawauman. Comrade Mawauman is the Nigerian representative at the Commonwealth Students. He is from Kebbi State. Please, let's hear from you, Comrade Mawauman, please.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. To just correct you, I'm representative of Commonwealth Student Association in Africa and Europe, and I'm from Kebbi State. Firstly, I would like to appreciate the presence of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kebbi State, for giving us this opportunity to interact with him. I know he has always give us opportunity, even here in the States, because whenever young people are trying to organize an event, you will even see him, coming first before the even people who organize the event. So I would like to appreciate him for that, actually. And I would like to also thank the Nigerian Youth Congress for organizing this wonderful interaction, because it will bring about the morale to the young people here to understand that we have many great roles to play, in terms of youth development as well. And I would like to encourage, Nigerian Youth Congress to keep doing this, and to keep engaging many people, and to keep engaging many people with brilliant ideas that can be utilized by the young people in the country. So thank you very much. That's what I have to say for now. But I also want to emphasize on implementation of this, national youth policy. The last time we traveled, I think everyone that is from Nigeria is so proud that other people and international communities are talking about the not too young to run, because it become a subject matter. Nigeria become a reference to issue of youth participation in politics. So it's left for the young people to do more in terms of trying to change the status quo. And to the to the leaders, the authorities, they also have to look at the way the young people can actively participate in this democratic process, because you'll find out that you don't have money, the whole issues have to do with money, and young people don't have money. So we need a policy that will protect us, those that don't have money, to participate actively. And we need to change the status quo in such a way that young person with brilliant idea can be elected into executive position without spending much money. So thank you very much. That's what I have to say for now. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I think one of our guests, Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, are you there? Dr. Tunji Ashaolu is the Nigerian representative of the African Union, ECOSOC. I am seeing AU Ahmed. Is that Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, please? If that is Dr. Tunji Ashaolu, Doctor, we want to hear from you. We are still expecting the Executive Governor of Cross River State. He promised to join us today, and let us know the handle you are using. If you are there, just let us see you. The Executive Governor. Also, we are still expecting Professor Shedrack Bext. Professor Shedrack Bext is a professor of political science. We are still expecting the Executive Governor of, and we also have some other guests we are still expecting at this forum. So without much ado, I will need to check one or two questions so that our guests can be able to do justice to that. I will check one or two questions so that our guests can be able to do justice to that. We have several questions here. Young women in Kebbi under the Talafi matter with this young Kebbi petition. Yeah, the Executive Governor, I think most of the young people are targeted at your appearance. Most of the questions today is based on the fact that you are online with us, and we will continue to appreciate it. Sincerely speaking, I must try as much as possible to commend you, not just because of showing up, but because of your commitment to stay with the young people for this kind of hours. We understand how busy you are, and a lot of people have been sending messages on the chat room, appreciating your appearance. You will not understand what you have done today, but I must tell you that you have really done more than enough. We sincerely need to appreciate you. So there is a question from one of our guests here that is personal. It's directed to you, Your Excellency. This is an avenue for you also to hear the first-hand information of what is going on in Kebbi State. I'm very sure that this question is from our woman. Your Excellency, young women in Kebbi State under Talafi Mata Development Initiative in collaboration with Actions Aid Foundation in partnership with Young African Leaders Initiative, Kebbi State, signed petition on GVB. It has been submitted to appropriate authority. What efforts are you making in considering such petition and also encouraging other state governors to do so? Let me read again, sir. Your Excellency, young women in Kebbi State under Talafi Mata Development Initiative in collaboration with Actions Aid Development in partnership with Young African Leaders Initiative, Kebbi State signed petition on GVB. It has been submitted to appropriate authority. What effort are you making in considering such petitions and also encouraging other state governors to do so? That is the questions that was directed at Your Excellency. And I'm very much sure afterwards, we will now ask the Honorable SSC some questions. So your son, we, from the youth of this country, want to hear from you, Your Excellency. Thank you for your time. We sincerely appreciate you, sir.
Thank you once more for giving me this opportunity to respond to the question from somebody who indicated that Talafi Mata is one of the NGOs in Kebbi, together with Action Aid and African Youth Foundation. And I've said it already, that we should all be mobilized to give the greatest punishment to all those who, despite the opportunity to relate within the context of the law, chose to cause harm to others. Nobody should be violent to the other person. And I was in the Senate when my wife, Her Excellency, Dr. Zainab Bagudu, and a friend of hers, a sister of hers, Dr. Lola Mabogunje, requested my help to introduce them to the then chair of the Women Affairs Committee and mobilize for the passage. In many states, it had already been passed. In Kebbi, in addition to what is being done under the ambit of the Northern Nigerian Governors Forum, which is to reform the penal code, which is the criminal code that operates in most northern Nigeria, in all northern Nigerian states, and we have done so, and we are set to pass it, to also enhance the punishment provisions for all offenses against person. And the Ministry of Justice in Kebbi, like I said, Her Excellency, have also been working hard, and I'm sure the State Assembly will soon consider, among others, the new new penal code, the Violence Against Persons law, and also the Child Right Act, which will enhance the current legislation. We have had punishment for all these bad offenses, but we are strengthening them. And the same thing is happening across Nigeria. Yesterday, I attended a virtual meeting of the Nigerian Governors Forum. This issue was discussed, and it was mentioned that about 30 states have so far passed the violence against persons legislation. And a number of states have also passed the Child Right Act, and Kebbi State will join. But even now, we have laws, but we are increasing the punishment. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. You have done very nice justice to that. The other question go to our SSA. It has been a great player on the platform. The speakers also. I think we have other important questions for our SSA. What are the kudos barrister team? Sorry, yes, I think our SSA, we have a question for you. Let me unmute you. What are the plans of the federal government? What are the plans of the federal government for youths which are not educated and are always involved in political thuggery? What are the plans of federal government for youth who are not educated and always involved on political thuggery? I think let me join the second question to it. What are the plans of the federal government for youth and that are not educated, that normally join political thuggery? With the issue of COVID-19 pandemic, it caused a lot of damage to economy. So, Your Excellency, okay, my question is, how can this? Okay, now let's make this question to the SSA. With the issue of COVID-19, the pandemic that has caused a lot of damage to the economy of Nigeria, what are the plans of the federal government to empower the youth after the COVID-19, that is post-COVID-19? What are the plans of the federal government post-COVID-19 for the young people who are either jobless or still looking for jobs? So let's convert the two questions for you. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for having me back again. The first question is asking about the plans of the federal government for youth empowerment, particularly for youth that are not educated. I think this is the first time in the history of this country that youth are being carefully selected to be empowered, particularly the ones that are not educated. And I'm happy to inform you that the Special Assistant to the President, Honorable Nasser Adhama, has been developing a very special scheme called the Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme. This particular program has been piloted last year and has been very, very successful. This is a unique program that for the first time is targeting the youth that are not educated, youth that have no certificates at all, primary, secondary, university. Anybody can benefit from this program. The presidential is called PS, it's called Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme. The scheme aimed at empowering 1,000 Nigerian youth per local government. So we are targeting 774,000 youths across the country. Each and every local government, we are targeting 1,000 youths to be empowered. The scheme involves training of youth in different aspects of life, be it carpentry, be it tailoring, be it fashion design, be it photography, be it whatever services, day-to-day services that we all need to enjoy life on a daily basis. We are targeting youth to train them on these services. And that last year, more than 2,000 youths have benefited from this PS scheme. And items have been distributed freely to beneficiaries. We have mobile barber shops, mobile photography, mobile eatery, a lot of services. These are services that we need on a daily basis. So for example, you can see that in the particular major streets of a state capital, one can say that the distance from one barbing salon, for example, to another may take a lot of distance, or before you can get to one particular service for your car or for carpentry or welding or tiling, you have to look very far. So, but we intend to produce these services so that there will be a lot within the cities in Nigeria. So this scheme is ongoing, and very soon we shall unveil the continuity of the scheme that is going to be that's going to cut across the entire country. It is called Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme, PS. You can follow us on Facebook, and you can see the progress that we have done so far. And particularly, I'm happy with this question because the question says specifically, what is the plan of the federal government to empower youth that are not educated? This particular program does not require any certification from any beneficiary. So long as you are a Nigerian youth, you are free to be enrolled, trained, and be given freely any of your selected service tools that you require to empower yourself economically. It is called Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme. The second question goes regarding the COVID-19 and plans of government post-COVID-19. I guess what this question is trying to ask is, on a continuous basis, what is the federal government doing for the youth sector? Already the youth will not constitute the bulk of the Nigerian population. And so it is absolutely challenging for government to empower each and every one of Nigerian youth. However, government is doing a lot already to empower more and more youth with empowerment tools and as well as with education. So if you can see now, the government is doing a lot in the education sector. The federal government is increasing access to tertiary education by way of opening up more universities, more colleges of education, and also developing existing ones. And I'm sure the executive governor of KB State here can testify to what the state government are doing regarding developing youth economically and also with education. So on a continuous basis, whether pre-COVID-19 or during these lockdown times, as well as post-COVID-19, government is dedicated to developing the youth, because the federal government is fully aware that the youth are not only tomorrow's leaders, but they are leaders that are needed today to develop the economic potential of this country for the future of the country. Thank you very much.
Very much, sir. Thank you very much. We are going towards the end of the program. The program is slated for 2. Possibly this program is going to be recording. We promise that in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we are definitely going to come online again. So, but we cannot just do this program without having the voice of the women. I think I am seeing the vice chairman of FCT, the vice chairman of FCT, the deputy chairman of FCT. That is, are you there? The deputy chairman, Sarah Ahmed. Are you there? So that at least we have a female that will speak before we round off and we allow His Excellency to go and do other job. The Vice Chairman of FCT, please, where are you? Are you there? The Vice Chairman of FCT. Please, we don't have the time. We don't have the time. If you are there, speak. We have just less than 5 minutes to go. If you are there, we'll give you just 1-2 minutes to speak. You are not there. Is there any other female there? Is there any other female there? So, not to waste our time. Not to wait.
I'm here.
Okay, please. Just 2 minutes, please. Just 2 minutes.
Okay, first government in appointing youth into the state council and also considering female as a permanent secretary to the state government in different appropriate state ministries. We are very happy to having that. And also I would like to commend the efforts of our state government in making sure the appointment of youth in his state. We are becoming gender sensitive governance now. But then we still need more participation of women in order to give it gender lens in the day-to-day activities of governance in the state. Not that their efforts, but still we still need more effort to be done. In the issue of VAF Act, we are really our own effort to see how the legislature can pass the bill into the second stage. And we are hoping when it's reached his table, he will do the needful in order to make it possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of KB State. Sincerely speaking, I think the Governor of Cross River State was trying to connect, but where he is, the network is bad. I just received the message now. Dr. Tunji Ashaolu is also very tight. He's trying to connect. Dr. Yakubu Shendam is on transit. The network is bad. They have sent all their apologies. So on behalf of the leadership of Nigeria Youth Congress, let me thank you most sincerely. Let me thank you most sincerely. You have really done what a father cannot do. So you are the father of the youth of this country. We are appreciative of your appearance. We are appreciative of your time. And we are most appreciative of your speech. Thank you very much, sir. The SSA to the president, ably represented by Dr. Aminu Ishaku. We really appreciate you, sir. We appreciate the SSA. He has been very wonderful. He is also a member of the governing board of this Congress. He has been supportive. He has never let us down in whatever we are doing. He has been fantastic. And we strongly believe that we will continue to appreciate him and his office. Let me also appreciate the Director General of the National Institute of Policies and Strategic Study, Professor Habu Galadima. He came online and he dropped his message for a director in that institute when he's about going for another meeting. So we sincerely appreciate you, sir. All our guests, all the speech, all the guest speakers who have spoken, the representatives of Commonwealth students, we cited you, we appreciated you. The chairmen of all the Nigeria Youth Congress across the Federation, we appreciate all of you. Members of the directorate, dignitaries across the nation, we appreciate all of you. We sincerely said we will be coming back very soon, and we are going to do more about this. We have learned a great thing from His Excellency. We have also got a lot of information from the office of the SSA, and the Director General has already also shaping our mindset about how young people should be thinking. So let me, on behalf of the governing board of the Nigeria Youth Congress, headed by Dr. Yakubu Chenda, on behalf of the leadership of Nigeria Youth Congress, headed by my humble self, Blessing Akilozotu, and on behalf of the state chairmen who are here present, and those who sent their apologies, local government coordinator all over the 774 local governments, and the ward coordinator all over the 8,809 wards that we have. We say thank you, and thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you, the Office of the SSA, to the President, and thank you all our guests. Thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate you.